Have you ever looked at a picture of the Great Pyramids of Giza and just wondered, how? How did a civilization from thousands of years ago, without the technology we have today, build these colossal monuments that have stood the test of time? It's a question that has baffled historians, engineers, and dreamers for centuries. Today, we're going on a journey back in time, peeling back the layers of sand and myth to uncover the incredible story of the Egyptian pyramids. This isn't just about stones and structures, it's about ambition, belief, and a civilization's quest for eternity. Our story begins around 2700 BC, during a period known as the Old Kingdom. Before the iconic smooth-sided pyramids, there was an evolutionary process. It all started with the mastaba, a flat-roofed rectangular tomb with sloping sides made of mud brick. Pharaohs and nobles were buried in these, but one king had a vision that would change architecture forever. This was Pharaoh Djoser, and his architect was a genius named Imhotep. Imhotep, often considered the world's first named architect and physician, decided to do something radical. Instead of just one mastaba for his king, he stacked 6 of them on top of each other, each one smaller than the one below. The result? The Step Pyramid at Saqqara. This was it. The world's first large-scale stone building and the very first pyramid. It was a revolutionary leap, a literal stairway to the heavens, designed to help the pharaoh's soul ascend to the stars and join the gods in the afterlife. The Step Pyramid wasn't just a tomb, it was a statement of power and a testament to a new era of architectural ambition. After Djoser, the pyramid building craze truly began. The next major innovator was Pharaoh Sneferu, who reigned around 2600 BC. Sneferu was a prolific builder, responsible for not one, but 3 major pyramids. His journey, however, was one of trial and error. His first attempt at Maydum started as a step pyramid and was later converted into a true pyramid, but it ultimately suffered a partial collapse. Undeterred, he moved to Dashur and began his second project, known today as the Bent Pyramid. The Bent Pyramid is fascinating because you can literally see the architects changing their minds. They started building at a steep angle of 54 degrees, but as the structure rose, they likely realized it was unstable. So about halfway up, they abruptly changed the angle to a much shallower 43 degrees, giving it a distinct bent appearance. It was a learning curve, written in millions of tons of stone. But Sneferu wasn't finished. He wanted perfection. His third and final attempt, the Red Pyramid, also at Dashur, was a resounding success. With its consistent 43-degree angle, it became the first successful true smooth-sided pyramid in history. It earned its name from the reddish hue of the limestone used in its core. Sneferu had finally cracked the code, paving the way for the most famous pyramids of all. With the lessons from Sneferu's reign, the stage was set for the golden age of pyramid building. This brings us to the Giza Plateau and the reign of Sneferu's son, Khufu. Around 2580 BC, Khufu commissioned the pyramid that would become one of the 7 wonders of the ancient world, the Great Pyramid of Giza. The scale of this project is almost impossible to comprehend. It's made of an estimated 2.3 million stone blocks, some weighing as much as 80 tons. For centuries, it stood as the tallest man-made structure on Earth. Think about the logistics. Quarrying these massive stones, transporting them miles from the quarries, and then lifting them over 480 feet into the air. How did they do it? While we don't have a definitive blueprint, the leading theory is that the Egyptians used a system of ramps. These might have been straight ramps, spiral ramps that wrapped around the pyramid, or even a combination of different types. They used sledges to drag the stones over the sand, which they likely wetted to reduce friction. The precision is just as impressive as the scale. The sides are aligned almost perfectly with the cardinal directions, and the stones are fitted together so tightly that you can even slide a piece of paper between them. This wasn't the work of slaves, as is often depicted in movies. Evidence from workers' villages near the pyramids shows that these were skilled Egyptian laborers. They were well fed, received medical care, and were organized into highly efficient crews. Building a pyramid was a national project, a form of religious devotion and civil service. It was an honor to help build the pharaoh's eternal home, ensuring his successful journey to the afterlife and, in turn, guaranteeing the prosperity and stability of the entire kingdom. Khufu's pyramid was not alone. His son, Khafre, built the second largest pyramid at Giza. While slightly smaller, it appears taller because it was built on higher ground. Khafre's complex also includes the Great Sphinx, the enigmatic statue with the body of a lion and the head of a human, believed to be a guardian of the pyramids. The third and smallest of the main Giza pyramids was built by Khafre's son, Menkaure. Together, these three pyramids, surrounded by smaller queen's pyramids, mastabas for nobles and temples, form a sacred landscape dedicated to eternal life. So why did they go to all this trouble? The pyramids were much more than just graves. They were resurrection machines. According to ancient Egyptian beliefs, the pharaoh was a divine intermediary between the gods and humanity. His death was not an end, but a transformation. The pyramid's shape, resembling the sun's rays, was designed to launch his soul into the sky to join Ra, the sun god. Inside, intricate passages led to a burial chamber deep within the structure, where the pharaoh's sarcophagus was placed. The chamber was filled with everything he would need in the afterlife: treasures, food, furniture, and even boats. The pyramid complex itself included mortuary temples where priests would perform daily rituals and leave offerings for the deceased king's spirit, or K for eternity. However, the age of colossal pyramid building was relatively short-lived. After Menkaure, the size and quality of the pyramids began to decline. Later pharaohs built much smaller pyramids, perhaps due to a shift in religious focus towards the god Ra and the construction of sun temples, or maybe the enormous economic strain these projects placed on the kingdom was simply becoming unsustainable. By the time of the New Kingdom pharaohs like Tutankhamun and Ramesses, the Great had abandoned pyramids altogether, choosing instead to be buried in hidden rock-cut tombs in the Valley of the Kings, hoping to protect their mummies and treasures from tomb robbers. And that brings us to the legacy of the pyramids. Despite being plundered thousands of years ago, they have stood for over 4,500 years as enduring symbols of ancient Egypt's ingenuity, power, and profound belief in eternity. They continue to inspire awe and fuel our imagination. Scientists and archaeologists are still making new discoveries today, using modern technology like cosmic ray muon scanning to uncover hidden chambers and passages within these ancient wonders. The pyramids remind us that with a shared vision, incredible organization, and an unshakable will, human beings can achieve the seemingly impossible. They are not just tombs of stone, they are monuments to the enduring spirit of human ambition. Thank you so much for joining me on this journey through ancient Egypt. What part of the pyramids' history fascinates you the most? Let me know in the comments below. If you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up, and don't forget to subscribe and hit that notification bell so you won't miss our next adventure into history. Until next time, stay curious. Have you ever wondered what secrets lie hidden beneath the sands of Egypt? For thousands of years, the pyramids have stood as silent sentinels, guarding the stories of a civilization that shaped our world. Today, we're not just looking at these stone giants. We're going to journey back in time over 4,500 years to uncover how and why these incredible structures were built. This is the story of ambition, innovation, and a belief in eternity that literally moved mountains. Our story begins around 2700 BCE, long before the Great Pyramid pierced the sky. The ancient Egyptians believed that their pharaohs were gods on earth, and their journey into the afterlife was of supreme importance. Early tombs were flat-roofed, rectangular structures made of mud brick called mastabas. They were functional, but they didn't quite capture the divine majesty of a king. A visionary was needed to dream bigger, and that visionary was Imhotep. Serving the pharaoh Djoser, Imhotep wasn't just a high priest. He was a genius architect and physician. He had a revolutionary idea. Instead of just one mastaba, why not stack them? One on top of another, each one smaller than the last, creating a stairway to the heavens. The result was the Step Pyramid at Saqqara, the world's first large-scale stone building. It was a sensation, a monumental ladder for the king's soul to ascend to the stars and join the eternal gods. The age of the pyramids had begun. Following Djoser, the race to perfect the pyramid was on. Pharaoh Sneferu, founder of the 4th dynasty, was particularly obsessed. His first attempt, the pyramid at Meidum, started as a step pyramid, but was later converted to have smooth sides. Unfortunately, the outer casing collapsed, leaving the core tower we see today. It was a learning experience. Undeterred, Sneferu commissioned another pyramid at Dashur. The builders started at a steep 54-degree angle, but halfway up they realized it was unstable. To prevent another collapse, they abruptly changed the angle to a much shallower 43 degrees. This created the unique bent pyramid, a visible record of ancient engineering challenges. Sneferu was a king who learned from his mistakes. For his third and final pyramid, he got it right. Just a short distance from the bent pyramid, he built the Red Pyramid. Using the lessons from his previous attempts, his builders used the gentler 43-degree angle from the start. The result was the first successful, true, smooth-sided pyramid. Its reddish limestone core gives it its modern name, and it stood as the tallest structure in the world at the time, a perfect monument for a great king. Sneferu's persistence had laid the groundwork for the ultimate masterpiece. And then came the big one. The one that has fascinated humanity for millennia. Sneferu's son, Khufu, ascended the throne and immediately began planning his own eternal home on the Giza Plateau. The Great Pyramid of Giza. This wasn't just a tomb. It was a statement of ultimate power and devotion. Standing at an original height of 481 feet, it was the tallest man-made structure in the world for over 3,800 years. It's composed of an estimated 2.3 million stone blocks, some weighing up to 80 tons, transported from quarries hundreds of miles away. The precision is mind-boggling. The sides are aligned almost perfectly with the cardinal points, and the gaps between the stones are so fine you can barely fit a piece of paper between them. So, how did they do it? For decades, people have imagined armies of slaves being whipped into submission, but modern archaeology paints a very different picture. Excavations near the pyramids have uncovered the remains of a purpose-built village. Here, a dedicated, skilled workforce of thousands of Egyptians lived. They were well-fed, receiving daily rations of bread, beer, and meat. They had medical care, as evidenced by skeletons with set bones. These weren't slaves. They were respected builders, proud to be constructing a national project for their god-king. They worked in teams, even giving their crews names like the Friends of Khufu or the Drunkards of Menkaure. The question of moving the massive stone blocks is still a subject of debate, but the leading theory involves a system of ramps. These could have been straight ramps, spiral ramps wrapping around the pyramid, or even a combination of different ramp systems. Evidence also suggests they used water. An ancient papyrus, the diary of a man named Merer, describes how his crew transported limestone blocks by boat from the Tura quarries to Giza via a series of man-made canals dug from the Nile River right to the base of the pyramid. They would wet the sand in front of wooden sledges, reducing friction and making it easier to haul the immense blocks overland. It was a combination of brute force, clever engineering, and incredible project management. Khufu was followed by his son, Khafre. He built the second largest pyramid at Giza, which appears taller than his father's only because it's built on slightly higher ground. But Khafre's most famous contribution is probably the Great Sphinx. This colossal statue with the body of a lion and the head of a king, likely Khafre himself, was carved from a single outcropping of bedrock. It was meant to be a guardian, a symbol of royal power and wisdom, watching over the sacred necropolis for all eternity. The final and smallest of the Giza pyramids was built by Khafre's son, Menkaure. Although much smaller, it was distinguished by its use of expensive Aswan granite for its lower courses, a sign that perhaps the enormous resources required for pyramid building were beginning to dwindle. The Pyramid Age, in its grandest form, was reaching its twilight. Later, pharaohs continued to build pyramids, but they were smaller and constructed with less durable materials like mud brick. The focus of royal burials eventually shifted to the hidden, rock-cut tombs in the Valley of the Kings, far to the south near Thebes. The age of the Great Pyramids lasted only a few centuries, but their legacy is eternal. They are not just tombs. They are a testament to human ingenuity, to a society's ability to organize and work towards a common goal, and to a profound belief in life after death. They challenge us, inspire us, and remind us of a civilization that dreamed in stone and built for eternity. The sands of time may shift, but the pyramids remain, their silent, majestic story waiting for us to listen. Thank you so much for joining me on this journey back in time. If you found this as fascinating as I do, please hit that like button and subscribe for more adventures into our incredible past. Let me know in the comments which ancient wonder you'd like to explore next. Until then, stay curious.